everybody. Welcome to episode 7 of DBT in 5. I'm Jamie Schmidt. I'm a DBT therapist and life coach based out of Houston, Texas. And we are talking about mindfulness. We've been on mindfulness for a couple of episodes now. And I think the most amazing thing about DBT is how Marcia breaks down mindfulness. She takes this concept that is unapproachable and puts it into 6 specific steps that make it applicable to everyday life, that are practicable, that you can go through and follow through and create more mindfulness right now just by following through. So what she's done is she's divided mindfulness into the what skills and the how skills. And today we're going to be talking about 2 of the what skills, observe and describe. And this comes from Mindfulness, handout 4 in the blue book. So any given time, we can only do 1 of our what skills. And they are the practice, the action. And what the 3 of them are is observe, describe, and participate. And so today we're starting out with observe. And observe is really the practice of intaking informational data from our surroundings without labeling it. It's our animalistic practice. When you think about my dog Harlow, he doesn't need to tell his brain to notice his surroundings and assess for a threat. It just does that automatically. As human beings, that really is our go-to, but our life conditions us to be unmindful. And so the very first step of beginning a mindfulness practice is to begin to observe things in your location. And this is really hard because we are removed from the animalistic place and we almost immediately go to describe. And so we're not staying in that observe, we're immediately labeling and we're putting words to, and we want this experience to be what we call it. But the practice of observe is just tuning in and recognizing what's going on before you get to that labeling. Now, what can be observed? In people, in ourselves, there are things that we can observe only in ourselves. And those are really important. The first one of those is emotions. We can observe our emotional state. We can tune in and recognize what's going on internally, whether that's the physical component of our emotion or the psychological thought. That's the second thing. We can observe our own thought processes. We can notice what's going on in our head. Thoughts are not facts. Thoughts are something that we don't have complete control over, but we have more control over than we think a lot of times. We can observe urges, right? This, I have a need to go out and do this thing. And so those are things we can only observe in ourselves. For other people, we can't observe emotional states. We can observe behaviors, and that's then we make assumption off of those observations a lot of times. But so that's an important fact to remember, is that though I can observe my thoughts and I can observe my emotions, I can't observe those things in anybody else. Okay, so the second piece is describe. And like I said, that's where we tend to go immediately. We like words as human beings, and the way we're conditioned in our culture, it's important to us to be able to describe and put labels to things. So as I was talking about observing, I have to use describe words, right? When I talk about our thoughts, that's describing something that you can observe. And so working on describing, things we want to think about is non-judgmental labels. So we won't want to think about things as good or bad. We want to label things as anybody in the room would describe them. So if we stick to the facts in DBT, if I ask you to bring to mind a person you really don't like in the media right now, everybody has one, no matter what side of the table you're on, right? Could you describe that person without using any judgments? Could you stick only to things that a person with opposite views of you would say, yeah, that's accurate? A lot of times that's physical characteristics, right? And when we remove judgments, evaluations of good or bad, unkind labels, things like nasty or mean or conniving, we take a lot of the negative emotion out of life. And so that's where we're really starting our mindfulness practice, is by learning to disconnect and observe, and then choosing to describe in a different way. And so that's where we really begin with mindfulness. Next time I'll talk about participate, which is that third, that active involvement piece of mindfulness. And then we'll get on to the the house skills, which are non-judgmental, one, mindful, and effective. So keep tuned in this week and next week, and we'll get all those covered. If you've enjoyed this, I'd love for you to like and subscribe. You know, that helps me out, and it's just wonderful. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.